Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 9th annual Hellgate Poetry Out Loud. Before we start, I want to give a couple thanks and a couple shout-outs to some people. I want to thank to the accuracy scoring, Jill Derryberry, Debbie Hendricks, Jean Croxton, and Sina Demons. Awesome. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. I also want to thank some of the Hellgate High School teachers who got the word out to the students and made this possible. So thank you very much, Caroline Lergio, Karen Swanson, Lou Procacci, Jill Derryberry, Rennie Connor, Debbie Hendricks, and Rianne Clark. Thank you very much. We also want to give a big shout out to the Hellgate Drama Department and the program director, Laramie Dean Carlson, for his assistance for helping us out tonight and getting us all set up. And I want to also have another shout out to the tech crew out there. We couldn't do this without you guys. Bridget Leonard, Noah Vanda Wettering, Ayla Baca, and Alora Fradkin. Thank you very much. To start out the night, we're going to have the invocation to the muse come up. Miss Hendricks. Give a round of applause to Miss Hendricks.
Okay, I'm going to recite the first 11 lines of the Aeneid, which is an epic poem. And in epic poetry, you always have an invocation to the muses, so hopefully you can pick out that word as I go along. Arma verumque cano Troiae qui primus aboris, Italiam fato profugus lavinia quovenit, litor mult til let terri jactatus et alto, vi superum saevae memorem nonis ab iram, multa quoquet bello passus dum conderit urbem, inferet Deus latio genus unda latinum, Albani qua patres at qualtae moenia Romae, Musa mihi causas memora quo numen alaiso, quidve delanes regina deum tot volver acasus, insignem pietata verum tatadira labores, impularit tontae enemis caelestibus irae?
Thank you very much, Miss Hendricks. That was wonderful. Okay, we're going to get it started tonight, but before we do, I'm going to also have an opening poem. Wild Geese by Mary Oliver. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Thank you. So we have two sections tonight, original spoken word or favorite poem from some lovely poets over here. And then our second section is the actual poetry out loud. And for the original spoken word or favorite poem, the best poem that they recite qualifies as a Hellgate High School Poet Laureate for 2017. So we're gonna get that started out. Let's introduce to the stage Megan Cavinti. Thank you very much.
The Type by Sarah Kay. If you grow up the type of woman men want to look at, you can let them look at you. Do not mistake eyes for hands, or windows, or mirrors. Let them see what a woman looks like. They may have not ever seen one before. If you grow up the type of woman men want to touch, you can let them touch you. Sometimes it is not you they are reaching for. Sometimes it is a bottle, a door, a sandwich, a Pulitzer, another woman. But their hands found you first. Do not mistake yourself for a guardian or a muse or a promise or a victim or a snack. You are a woman, skin and bones, veins and nerves, hair and sweat. You are not made out of metaphors, not apologies, not excuses. If you grow up the type of woman men want to hold, you can let them hold you. All day they practice keeping their bodies upright. Even after all this evolving, it still feels unnatural, still strains the muscles and holds firm the arms and spine. Only some men will want to learn what it feels like to curl themselves into a question mark around you. Admit they do not have the answers they thought they would by now. Some men will want to hold you like the answer. You are not the answer. You are not the problem. You are not the poem or the punchline or the riddle or the joke. Woman, if you grow up the type men want to love, you can let them love you. Being loved is not the same as loving. When you fall in love, it is discovering the ocean after years of puddle jumping. It is realizing you have hands. It is reaching for the tightrope when the crowds have all gone home. So forgive yourselves for the decisions you have made, for the ones you still call mistakes when you tuck them in at night. Know this. Know you are the type of woman who is searching for a place to call yours. Let the statues crumble. You have always been the place. You are a woman who can build it yourself. You were born to build.
Thank you very much, Megan. I'm going to perform one of my favorite poems from a very talented hip-hop MC that you may know as Atmosphere. That is his rap group. This one is called Became. It's no surprise. I overslept, put my boots on and climbed out the tent. I didn't see you, assumed you were sleeping. Immediately start a fire cause it's freezing. I can't believe we went camping in the cold. I'm in the wilderness, standing in some snow. A late start, but we can still catch up. You need to wake up, we should eat and then pack up. It's when I notice your footprints. The snow's fresh, and those have been put since. What, you're already up making the rounds? So where you at right now? You laid back down? The breeze came and it stalled out the flame while I went to your tent and called out your name. You didn't answer, so I opened up the flap. It's just an empty sleeping bag in your backpack. I'm looking at your tracks. You took a couple laps around the campground and hoofed down the path. I figured you'll return, no concern. I'ma hold put and try to make this cold wood burn. The wind is blowing strong. The minute rolling on is going on at least a half an hour you've been gone. It ain't right, start the paranoia. I left the campsite to go and search for you. I read the trail your feet made. Each step was deliberately placed. It looks like you know where it leads, but I see nothing but leafless frozen trees. About 1/4 mile into the course, another set of tracks appeared next to yours. From the north, it came out of the thick woods, and those footprints belonged to a big wolf. Trying to find service on my cell phone. I felt all right with my knife on my belt, though. I hope the wolf is intimidated by you. I wonder if you even knew he was behind you, stalking you, maybe watching you, waiting for the opportunity to hop on top of you. Salivating, wanna take it to the stomach. In the cartoons, you would have turned into a drumstick. And it gets about as bad as it goes, cause I noticed there's another set of tracks in the snow. I understood, it doesn't look good. Your fan club doubled, now you got another wolf. And the odds are in favor of the home team. Why'd you go off all alone? Where you going? It ain't right, time to complain, but it feels like I'm trying to find your remains. Your footprints grew further apart, and I knew what that meant. It mean you started to run. Now my breath's looking like a steam engine train. Suddenly your tracks dip off to the path, and so did theirs. So my knife I grabbed into the forest. Expect the worst. Adrenaline burst, disturbed the nerves. 50 yards into the woods and brush. It got so thick that it looked like dust. The air stood serene, sober. It seemed like a good 15 degrees colder. And I'll admit, hell yeah, I felt fear. The sound of my heartbeat was all that I could hear. Looking at the snow, it was plain and clear. There was a third set of wolf prints where yours disappeared. I can't process, I don't follow. It would be easier to believe that you were swallowed with no sign of death, no sign of struggle, no sign of blood, no sign of trouble. And the wolves never stopped. The tracks kept going and took off. And so I didn't know how the story ends, but I know I'll never go into those woods again. Thank you. Up next to the stage, we're gonna have Svea Craig. Welcome, come up to the stage.
If I Should Have a Daughter by Sarah Kay. If I should have a daughter, instead of mom, she's going to call me Point B, because that way, no matter what happens, at least she knows she can always find her way to me. And I'm going to paint the solar systems on the backs of her hands, so she'll have to learn the entire universe before she can say, oh, I know that like the back of my hand. And she's going to learn that this life will hit you hard, in the face, wait for you to get back up just so it can kick you in the stomach. But getting the wind knocked out of you is the only way to remind your lungs how much they like the taste of air. There is hurt, here, that cannot be fixed by Band-Aids or poetry. So the first time she realizes that Wonder Woman isn't coming, I'll make sure she knows she doesn't have to wear the cape all by herself. Because no matter how wide you stretch your fingers, your hands will always be too small to catch all of the pain you want to heal. Believe me, I've tried. And baby, I'll tell her, don't stick your nose up in the air like that. I know that trick. I've done it 1,000,000 times. You're only smelling for the smoke so you can follow the trail back to a burning house to find the boy who lost everything in the fire to see if you can save him. Or else, find the boy who lit the fire in the first place to see if you can change him. But I know she will anyway, so I'll always keep an extra supply of chocolate and rain boots, because there's no heartbreak that chocolate can't fix. Okay, so there's a few that chocolate can't fix. But that's what the rain boots are for, because rain will wash everything away if you let it. I want her to look at the world through the underside of a glass-bottom boat, to look through a microscope at the galaxies that exist on a pinpoint of a human mind, because that's the way my mom taught me, that there will always be days like this. There'll be days like this, my mama said. The days when you open your hands to catch but wind up with only blisters and bruises. The days where you step out of the phone booth and try and fly, but the very people you want to save are the ones standing on your cape. The days where your boots will fill with rain and you'll be up to your knees in disappointment. And these are the days you have all the more reason to say thank you. Because there's nothing more beautiful than the way the ocean refuses to stop kissing the shoreline, no matter how many times it's sent away. You'll put the wind in win some, lose some. You'll put the star in starting over and over. And no matter how many landmines erupt in a minute, make sure your mind lands on the beauty of this funny place called life. And yes, on a scale of 1 to over-trusting, I am pretty damn naive. But I want her to know that this world is made of sugar, and it can crumble so easily, but don't be afraid to stick your tongue out and taste it. And baby, I'll tell her, remember your mama is a warrior, and your papa is a warrior. And you are the girl with the small hands and the big eyes who never stops asking for more. Remember, good things come in threes, and so do bad things. Always apologize for when you've done something wrong, but don't you ever apologize for the way your eyes refuse to stop shining. Your voice is small, but don't ever stop singing. And when they finally hand you heartache, when they slip war and hatred under your door and offer you handouts on street corners of cynicism and defeat, you tell them that they really ought to meet your mother.
Thank you, Svea. I just want to take this time to just let everyone know that poetry is everywhere nowadays. Poetry is in the music you listen to on the radio. Poetry is in that beautiful soliloquy that your teacher says. Poetry is the foundation of life for me personally, so I actually want to share with you one of my favorite books, Bruce Lee. See, my good dear friend Ari Jaffe gave me this book one day because he said he didn't like to read, and I noticed that there was a poetry section, and I got really excited because of that. So I'm going to read you a poem from Bruce Lee. Actually, a couple, because they're very short, but they're very beautiful. Down the Western Hill by Bruce Lee. Down the western hill the bright sun sinks, making yellow gold of all the air. On a lonely hilltop, away from the distant mist, a golden dragon stands staring with dreams that fade and die in the bright west. And then he leaves us at that, so it's mysterious. I'm gonna recite another one from Bruce Lee. That's actually him and his child right there. Once more I hold you in my arms, and once more I lost myself in paradise of my own. Right now you and I are in a golden boat drifting freely on a sunny sea, far, far away from the human world. I am happy as the waves dancing around us. Too much analysis kills spontaneously, as too much light dazzles my eyes. Too much truth astonishes me. Despite all obstacles, love still exists between us. It is useless to try to stir the dirt out of the muddy water, as it will become murkier. But leave it alone and it should be cleared. It will become clear by itself. Thank you. Coming to the stage, up next is Esther Lyon Del Sordo.
To want, to be. There is this rushing tide beneath, a restless moaning, a desulous torrent of craven need, an all-consuming thrash, such sonorous creed. It creaks me so to speak its name, my friend, for in its eyes you are throbbing red. Devour, sans inhibition, slice. Beckon me down to the water's silver, I plead you, do drown me in your heathen abyss. For when coyotes feather down alpine peaks, mine eyes breathe fire into ashen souls of ice, and never shall you know my petaled tears again. The sky speaks wonders of my countenance, your fear, as rockets bloom in harlequin cheeks and my wild wind swoops down for the kill. It is not you I seek. Somewhere, everywhere, my bones desire a self-devoured respite from a world of mortal flames. I am charcoal persimmon, haunt of the mountain's shady ire. I plead you, do kiss me feral with boiling blood, only if lonely you crave yourself more than I. Speak of a blindness, a withering love so creative it destroys being. My interdimensional passion for worlds untouched by my wrathful, admirative vivacity. When our art,
Our dreams are something other than the mind from which they are born. When exist means become, means I am a creation, a destroyer by creation, who strikes infinity by ceasing to exist. Whirlwinds rake thigh bone whispers in the doldrum of unwieldy minds. Dorm and thunder, pearly thunders soothly sway. You told me so, I tell you. Infatuatory murmurings remind me of my fate. This is not the whole me, I tell you. The true I sees no mask. The true I exists unmasked.
Thank you very much, Esther. We want to actually acknowledge her for placing at third place at state last year. So, pretty fantastic. One of my favorite bands is very poetic, and that would be The Doors. They are a darker band, and some of their messages are a little negative, but I believe that what Jim Morrison was preaching most of the time was pure beauty and poetry. So I'm going to read one of his actual poems, not one of his songs. It's a search, an opening door of one door after another. Our work, our performing, is a striving for metamorphosis right now. We're more interested in the dark side of life, the evil thing, the nighttime. But through our music, we're striving, trying to break through to a cleaner, freer realm. Our music and personalities, as seen in performance, are still in a state of chaos and disorder, with maybe an element of purity just showing. Lately, when we've appeared in concert, it's starting to merge. Thank you. It's actually quite interesting because Jim Morrison wrote a book of poetry after dropping 2 albums with The Doors, the band, and no one really liked, or people did like his poetry, but he didn't get the best ratings on his book. And being asked in an interview by, I think, the Rolling Stone, they asked him, "What do you feel about your book not getting good ratings?" And he said, "They just did not understand." So that's from the mind of Jim Morrison there. While I'm up here, I want to give another shout out to the Ron Scholl and to the Missoula Community Access Television, MCAT, for a media assistance grant to tape and cablecast this event. For more information about the grant program, get a copy of tonight's program, or to schedule your event, dial 542-MCAT or go online, www.mcat.org. That is 542-MCAT, or go online to www.mcat.org. Awesome. Well, let's get rolling with our poetry again. Up to the stage next is Mia Fukamitsu.
I Hate Myself by Taz. I hate myself. I hate my face, my body, the environment that I'm in. I'm so filled with hate, I don't even know what to do with it. I see pictures in magazines, and when I look back at myself, I no longer like what I see. They don't show you the stretch marks, split ends, gap teeth. See, they don't represent people like you or me. The irony when we're forced down messages such as "be yourself" by celebrities, when they know full well they're partially to blame for our insecurities. Since day one, we've been told to do this, say this, and if I wear this, then a guy might just like me, running my confidence to the ground. To this day, I can't hold a conversation without saying sorry, like 15 gazillion times to say I'm apologizing for just being me. Some nights I stay awake up at night, and the silence is so loud it overwhelms me. I can't sleep or eat, filled with so much negativity, till negativity became me. But I lie and carry on smiling, because that's the person I want to be, so happy, joyful, and carefree. People say just be confident. They don't understand that you get tired, you get weak. I just need you to see that I'm filled with self-hate, and it consumes me because I wasn't brought up to be proud of myself and love who I am. No, I was told that there were expectations and limitations and fought for every can't to be a can. So filled with hate, I suffocate. This is my fate, I tell myself, as I try to pick myself up. But it's too late. I don't want compliments or attentions from passersby. I crave real love, not likes from a social networking website. You start to create this self-image that is so perfect, flawless, and happy because you think that that's what's right. Wrong. So you can't fill a void with lies. You can't solve pain with short highs. So you resort to late-night cries, and you wonder why. Sigh. For the longest time, I would blame my environment, the media, my peers, and it took me years to see that it's not you, it's me. If I want to change how I feel, I have to start from within, look into my soul, what's beneath the skin, because the solution isn't external, don't you see? You can't solve your problems from what's on your phone screen. The answer comes from who you are, deep inside, all those thoughts and feelings you tried so desperately to hide. I am capable of so much more, and I don't need to hear it from you because I know it from me. When you open your mind, you start to see things clearly, your potentials, ambitions, your dreams. You become free. So for the first time in a long time, I'm just gonna let myself breathe. Today, I choose me.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna perform a piece called Caged Bird. I know that some of you are familiar with this piece. It's a very famous piece. But I want to encourage everyone in the audience tonight, if you haven't been reading up on your poetry lately, to just search out there and maybe search some poems when you get home or when you're on your lunch break and just read some poetry, because I think it brings some light and some beauty to your day, as this is bringing to my day, and I hope it's bringing to everyone else's day tonight. Here we go. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bear of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trial of things unknown, but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare of scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Welcoming up next to the stage is Brienne Stoop. Is she here? Yes. Awesome.
All right, so it's untitled. Why? Why are they so afraid of a naked breast? Why do they have to believe that that's what it looks like? Why do they have to think that that's the only thing that women have? A naked breast. But, you know, more often than not, we open the box and be something that we actually are. We are beautiful, we are strong. We are something that we need to be, and we be it. We hold it true, and we know what we need to do.
Sorry about that, a little technical difficulties. I'm gonna read you guys a short poem by Tupac. When your hero falls. When your hero falls from grace, all fairy tales are uncovered, myths exposed and pain magnified, the greatest pain discovered. You taught me to be strong. You taught me to be stronger, but I'm confused to see you so weak. You said never to give up, and it hurts to see you welcome defeat. When your hero falls, so do the stars, and so does the perception of tomorrow. Without my hero, there is only me alone to deal with my sorrow. Your heart ceases to work, and your soul is not happy at all. What are you expected to do when your only hero falls? Now welcoming to the stage is Brienne Stub. Brienne Stub.
Swaying, an original poem. My heart seems to beat easier as the cool breeze brushes over my skin, raising small mountains on my arms. Many feet have walked the trail I am resting upon, the trail hidden under a blanket of quiet, but somehow it is mine. My hair is tangled with the towering, whispering trees, toes dug in the cold, deep mud. The wind blows, and with it, I am swaying.
I'm going to read you a poem I wrote for English class. I sit and listen to the subliminal broadcast. I'm searching for something real, pure. I hate how much that dark screen can impact. If I were to ignore their message, then I would be an outcast. But life is a treat too sweet not to savor. Yet I sit and listen to the subliminal broadcast. The effect of this miscued brain space created membrane overcast. The effect is meant to create fear. I hate how much that dark screen can impact. Our society is now run by the screen. It seems like it's hijacked. Every corner, everywhere, it reappears. I sit and listen to that subliminal broadcast. The whole wide world is stuck in a telecast. If we can find love with each other, that is still unclear. I hate how much that dark screen can impact. Bring me back where there were no screens in the past. My message is spoken through my lips and is sincere. Yet, I sit and listen to that subliminal broadcast. I hate how much that dark screen can impact. Ray Frisbee, welcome to the stage. Is everyone liking the poetry tonight? Good, me too. And we're good!
Dear Straight People, by Denise Froman. Dear straight people, who do you think you are? Do you have to make it so obvious I make you uncomfortable? Why do I make you uncomfortable? Do you know that makes me uncomfortable? Now we're both uncomfortable. Dear straight people, you're the reason why we stay in the closet. You're the reason why we even have a closet. I hate closets, but you made the living room feel like an unshared space. And now I'm feeling like a guest in my own house. Dear straight people, sexuality and gender, two different things, combined in many different ways. If you mix match your socks, you understand. Dear hip hop, why are you so fascinated in discovering gay rappers? Gay people rap, just like gay people ride bikes and eat tofu. Dear straight people, I don't think God has a sexual orientation, but if she were straight, she'd be a dope ally. Why else would she make rainbows? Dear straight women, straight women, leave me the heck alone! Dear straight men, if I'm flirting with you, it's because I think it's funny. Just laugh. Dear straight people, I'm tired of proving that my love is authentic. So I'm calling for reparations. When did you know you were straight? Who taught you? Did it happen because your parents are divorced? Did it happen because your parents are not divorced? Did it happen because you sniffed too much glue in the 5th grade? Dear straight people, why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do I have to prove my love is authentic? Why do you stare at me when I'm holding my girlfriend's hand in public like I'm about to rob you? Dear straight people, you make me want to freaking rob you! Dear straight allies, thank you. More, please. Dear straight bullies, you're right. We don't have the same values. You kill everything that's different. I preserve it. Tell me, what happened to George Marcado, Suka Gunn, Lawrence King, to the souls alienated between too many high school walls, who planned the angels of their death in math class, who imagined their funerals as more ticker tape parades, who thought of the afterlife as more of an after party? Did you notice that hate is alive and well in too many lunchrooms, taught in the silence of too many teachers, passed down like second-hand clothing from too many parents? Dear queer young girl, I see you. You don't want them to see you. So you change the pronouns in your love poem to him instead of her. I used to do that. Dear straight people, you make young poets make bad edits. Dear straight people, kissing my girlfriend in public without looking to see who's around is a luxury I do not fully have yet. But tonight, I am drunk in my freedom. Grab her hand in the busiest street in Philadelphia, zip my fingers into hers, and press our lips together firmly until we melt their stares into a standing ovation. Imagine we're in a sea of smiling faces, even when we're not. And when we're not, start shoveling, digging deeper into each other's eyes and say, hey baby, can't nothing stop this tonight, because tonight, this world is broken, and we're the only thing that's gonna keep it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ray. That was a powerful piece. I'm going to read you another original poem by me. I call it the original poem by Diego Chelland. My beautiful butterfly queen loves me as she slumbers by my side. I have to stay up because the night calls my name. For my queen, I must leave so I can survive. I must go out into the cold and up the mountain, through the snow, over fences to arrive to the transportation fountain. As I ride off into the moonlight, I'll sing and laugh. But in the morning, I'll sleep as my queen opens eyes. I travel for her sake, so she can realize that I am her cocoon, and she still has to erupt from her blossoming tomb. Thank you. One of the biggest shout-outs I'm going to give tonight is to Sean Cant for putting this together. We are very, very, very thankful for the poetry, and I, and everyone else, as I could say, is very thankful for these poems tonight because it is a fantastic thing. Thank you very much. All right. We are going to have one last performance for this section, and that will be Ingrid Bieluko. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks, Diego. Because he's black. So I'm driving down the street with my 4-year-old nephew. He knocking back a juice box, me a Snapple. Today, y'all, we are doing manly stuff. I love watching the way his mind works. He asks a million questions. Uncle, why is the sky blue? Uncle, how do cars go? Uncle, why don't dogs talk? Uncle, he asks. Uncle, he asks. Uncle, as if his voice box is a warped record. I try my best to answer every question I do. I say it's because the way the sun lights up the outer space. It's because the engines make the wheels go. It's because their minds don't work quite like ours. I say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, I don't know, who knows, maybe. We laugh. He smiles at me, looks out the window, spots a cop car, drops his seat and says, "Oh man, Uncle, 5-0, we gotta hide." I'll be honest, I'm not happy with the way we raise our black boys. Don't like the fact that he learned to hide from the cops well before he knew how to read. Angrier that his survival depends more on his ability to deal with the authorities than it does his own literacy. Get up, I yell at him. In this car, in this family, we are not afraid of the law. I wonder if he can hear the uncertainty in my voice. Is today the day he learns that Uncle is willing to lie to him? That I am more human than hero? We both know the truth is far more complex than do not hide. Both know too many black boys who disappeared, names lost, know too many Trayvon Martins, Oscar Grants, Abno Luimas, know too many Sean Bells and Trayvon Martins, know far too well that we are the hard-boiled sons of Emmett Till. Still, we both know it's not about whether or not the shooter is racist. It's about how black boys are treated as problems well before we're treated as people. Where I'm from, seeing cop cars drive down the street feels a lot like low-flying planes in New York City. Where I'm from, routine traffic stops are more like minefields. Any wrong move could very well mean your life. And how do I look my nephew in his apple face and tell him to be strong when we both know black boys are murdered every day simply for standing up for themselves? I take him by the hand, I say, be strong. I say, be smart. Be kind and polite. Know your laws. Be aware of how quickly your hand moves to pocket for wallet or ID. Be more aware of how quickly the officer's hand moves to holster for gun. Be black. Be a boy. Have fun, because this world will force you to become a man far more quickly than you'll ever have to need to. He lets go of my hand. He says, Uncle. But Uncle, what happens if the cop is really mean? And it scares me to know that he, like so many other black boys, is getting ready for a war I can't prepare him for.
I just wanted to let everyone know one more time that these poets you just saw are in the first round, and this first round was for the Poet Laureate for 2017 for the best. So whoever the judges decide the best recitation qualifies as a Hellgate High School Poet Laureate for 2017. That was a lot for me to say, apparently. I'm gonna read one more small original poem by me while the judges make their decisions. It's getting darker. It's even more late. I'm getting older. You can call that fate. The moon is hidden, the stars are creeping, and from the great unknown a secret is leaking. A man with a bow looking for fresh prey to feed his family is all he is seeking. That same very night, evil spirits lurked, you could say, as the grim searched for a man on the night of the reaping. Only one victim, only one victor, The man's soul was taken that night for the Grimm's immortal keeping. Thank you. I had a recommendation for a dance. So if you guys just want to clap with me really quick. Thank you very much. I'm gonna read one more poem from my phone because that's where I write it. I should get a notebook sometime. I was hoping to get a journal for Christmas, but I seem to just get like video games and stuff like that, so. Oh, we're done. I'll save it for later. Right now we're gonna go on to the second round of poetry, and that will be the Poetry Out Loud. In this section, the top 3 poets will go to the regional Poetry Out Loud competition at the Hellgate High School Auditorium on Wednesday, February 15th, 2017. So be sure to put that in your guys' calendars because there's gonna be some more poetry and there's gonna be some more fun. And I'm actually gonna be emceeing again, so you can come see me as well. All right, we're gonna get it started with Leanna Dillon. Please welcome to the stage.
If Once You've Slept on an Island by Rachel Lyman Field. If once you've slept on an island, you'll never be quite the same. You may look as you looked the day before and go by the same old name. You may bustle about in street and shop. You may sit at home and sew, but you'll see blue water and wheeling gulls wherever your feet may go. You may chat with the neighbors of this and that, and close to your fire keep, but you'll hear ship whistle and lighthouse bell, and tides beat through your sleep. Oh, you won't know why, and you can't say how such a change upon you came, but once you've slept on an island, you'll never be quite the same.
Thank you for starting us out in the second round. I was looking at my phone for more poems to read, and I came across this one about my grandfather. And my grandfather was a handyman out in Hall. If you don't know where Hall is, it's 5 minutes away from Drummond. And I'm gonna read that next time I come out, but I just wanted to give you a little background story about my grandfather, John Chelland. He was a funny guy. He worked on whatever you really wanted. He'd fix your chair, he'd fix your plumbing, he'd do anything. That's why they called him a handyman. But anyways, there was this really magnificent story that my father told me about my grandpa. And he had a place up at Patty Creek Canyon, and he used to have this barn, and there was these huge barn doors. And one time he put these CD reflectors in it, hung by a string, and they were shining and the doors were open, and this buck goes in the doors, and he sees this, and he goes up to the doors and he closed the doors behind the buck, and you can hear the buck just like wobbling around in there, like, what's going on? And there's these side doors, and he grabbed his spear and he opened the side doors and he went to the deer, and right before he was gonna spear the deer, he said that the deer looked straight in his eyes, and then he speared the deer. But he took off 3 hunting seasons after that because he said that the deer looked into his eyes and told him that he was like the last deer that he should hunt because, you know, it's not very good for the deer. But I thought that was a really fantastic story to tell before this poem to give you some backup information about my grandfather. So, I'll tell you another story about him. One time, I was a little kid, and I remember this, but you know when you're a little kid and you like remember things, you kind of remember them, but you don't really remember them, and then things kind of turn differently. But well, anyways, he was replastering his walls, and he said, "Diego, now I'm only telling you this, but I hid some guns in the wall, just in case the apocalypse comes." I don't know, because he was kind of a conspiracy theorist, but I always thought there was guns in the wall, and when he died, my father got the property, and I was like, "Dad, there's guns in the wall," because the sad thing is, someone broke into our house and stole all of our guns, so I was like, "There's like 3 more in the wall, we still have guns." And I guess we'll find out one day. But that's all the time I have to talk about my grandfather, Grandpa Chelland. Next, coming to the stage, we're gonna have Claire Parsons. Welcome to the stage.
Advice to a Prophet by Richard Wilbur. When you come, as you soon must, to the streets of our city, mad-eyed from stating the obvious, not proclaiming our fall, but begging us, in God's name, to have self-pity, spare us all word of the weapons, their force and range, the long numbers that rocket the mind. Our slow, unreckoning hearts will be left behind, unable to fear what is too strange. Nor shall you scare us with talk of death of the race. How should we dream of this place without us? The sun mere fire, the leaves untroubled about us, a stone look on the stone's face. Speak of the world's own change. Though we cannot conceive of an undreamt thing, we know to our cost how the dreamt cloud crumbles. The vines are blackened by frost, how the view alters. We could believe, if you told us so, that the white-tailed deer will slip into perfect shade. Grown perfectly shy, the lark avoid the reaches of our eye, the jack-pine lose its knuckled grip on the cold ledge, and every torrent burn as Xanthus once, its gliding trout stunned in a twinkling. What should we be without the dolphin's ark, the dove's return, these things in which we've seen ourselves and spoken? Ask us, prophet, how we shall call our natures forth when that live tongue is all dispelled, that glass obscured or broken, in which we have said the rose of our love and the clean horse of our courage, in which beheld the singing locust of our soul unshelled, and all we mean or wish to mean. Ask us. Ask us whether with the worldless rose our hearts shall fail us. Come demanding, whether lofty or long-standing, when the bronze annals of the oak tree close.
Thank you very much, Claire. I found the poem. I gotta take the mic off the stand for this one. This one's called Grandpa Chelland. I wake up, hear a crash and a boom. In fear, I stare out deep into the moon and listen for the whisper inside of his tomb. The man I once knew rests in peace, I assume. A deep silence as the hairs on my body grow stiff. I wish I could remember, I wish only if He could communicate with me or send me a gift, but he is nowhere to be found, and for that I will miss. As I pack my bags, preparing to leave his workshop, the time stopped when John died, but the clock starts to tick-tock. The old rusty radio turned on, and Elvis started to rock, and at the door I heard a sudden but calm knock. Then everything stopped. I ran to the door like when I was a wee lad, reached for the doorknob, hoping for the spirit of Granddad. Thank you. Up next to the stage, Connor King Reese. Welcome.
To a Mouse by Robert Burns. Wes laget kauren timros bisti, o what a panax in thy breasty. Thou needna start a was a hasty with bicker and prattle. I would be late to run and chasty with murder and battle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union and justifies that ill opinion that makes thee startle at me, thy poor earthborn companion and fellow mortal. I doubt na whiles, but thou may thieve. What then, poor mousey? Thou man leave. A dame and nicker and a thraves a smart request. I'll get a blessing with a live and never missed. Thy wee bit housey tune ruin, it silly was the winds are strewn. And nothing new to big a noon, no foggage grain, and bleak December's winds and soon baith snell and cane. Thou saw the fields laid bare and wast, and weary winter coming fast, and cozy here beneath the blast thou thought to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter past thou draw thyself. That wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee mony a weary nibble, and now thou stand out for a' thy trouble, but house are called to thole the winter sleety dribble and crown rich cald. But mousey, thou art no thy lane, and proving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang off the gley, and lay us not but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me, the present only toucheth thee. But och, I backward cast my eye on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I guess and fear.
Thank you very much, Connor. I was backstage and I was just thinking to myself, you guys just think I'm some kind of poetry nut, and I didn't even get to introduce myself really fully. I'm Diego Chelland. I am a student at Hellgate High School here, and I am a hip-hop artist in Missoula, Montana. I'm currently working on a free mixtape for the public, because I feel like the only way to get yourself out as an artist is to release your first stuff free. So be looking for that. It'll be everywhere. I'm gonna post up posters everywhere. I'm gonna print up stuff and maybe like illegally put it on bridges and stuff. It's gonna say Deegs, Diego Chelland on it. But like I said, poetry is the foundation of my life. I'm going to school next year. I'm gonna double major in music and the voice and acting, and I feel that it's those two tied together for Poetry Out Loud, because when you're up on stage, you're not only using poetry, but you're also acting. You have this act about you. You have this way about you that you're pronouncing a poem if it's in a different dialect, or if it's in a, you go to acting. It's simple. But I'm just very happy that I got this gig, because I am an MC and I have MC'd other shows, but I am meant to MC for poetry and for music. So thank you very much for having me as your host. Up next to the stage, we're gonna have Brienne Stube. I pronounced it right? Yes! Brienne Stube.
Ode to the Hotel Near the Children's Hospital by Kevin Young. Praise the restless beds. Praise the beds that do not adjust, that will not lift the head to feed, or lower for shots, or blood, or raised to watch the tinny TV. Praise the hotel TV that won't quit its murmur and holler. Praise the room service that doesn't exist, just the slow delivery to the front desk of cooling pizzas and brown bags leaky, greasy, and clear. Praise the vending machines, praise the change, praise the hot water and the heat, or the loud cool that helps the helpless sleep. Praise the front desk who knows to wake room 120 when the hospital rings. Praise the silent phone. Praise the dark drawn by thick daytime curtains after long nights of waiting, awake. Praise the waiting, and then praise the nothing that's better than bad news. Praise the wake-up call at 6 a.m. Praise the sleeping in. Praise the card hung on the door like a whisper, lips pressed silent. Praise the stranger's hands that changed the sweat of sheets. Praise the checking out. Praise the going home to beds unmade for days. Beds that won't resurrect or rise, that lie there like a child should. Sleeping, tubeless. Praise this mess that can be left.
Thank you, Brianne. I've got the mad flow, yes, because I spit the knowledge. Intelligent mind, yes, with plans to go to college. Life's a mystery, so get the clues, you gotta solve it until you understand bullseye and then you got it. Life's a mystery, so you just gotta do your best. Bringing positivity to the east and the west. Until I bring the vibes to Brooklyn, I will not rest. D-double-E-G-Z is in effect. That's right, they call me Deeks, but more or less a Mosiah. Looking up to me because I bless them with fire. Like Pinocchio, yo, I'm not a liar. Every time I tell the truth, my rep is getting higher. I thought I'd share some hip hop with you guys. I just really want to emphasize tonight about how much, you might not even know, but how much poetry has affected your life individually. Because when you're in your car, you're in the elevator, walking down the street, and you're singing that tune, like, trying to think of a good tune, like, I can't feel my face when I'm with you. Like, that's poetry. Like, all this is poetry. And I just want to emphasize how much poetry can help you get through whatever you need to get through, because it is a stress reliever, just like exercising or eating food, but yet you're not eating food. But yet you can exercise and listen to poetry. So that is good, so do that. Up next to the stage is Esther Lyon Pelzoki. Welcome to the stage.
You, Andrew Marvel, by Archibald MacLeish. And here, face down beneath the sun, and here, upon earth's noonward height, to feel the always coming on, the always rising of the night. To feel creep up the curving east, the earthy chill of dusk, and slow upon those underlands the vast and ever-climbing shadow grow. And strange at Ecbaton the trees take leaf by leaf the evening strange, the flooding dark about their knees. The mountains over Persia change, and now at Kermanshah, the gate, dark, empty, and the withered grass, and through the twilight now, the late few travelers in the westward pass. And Baghdad darkened, and the bridge across the silent river gone, and through Arabia the edge of evening widen and steal on and deepen on Palmyra's street, the wheel rut in the ruined stone, and Lebanon fade out, and Crete high through the clouds and overblown, and over Sicily the air still flashing with the landward gulls, and loom and slowly disappear the sails above the shadowy hulls, and Spain go under, and the shore of Africa, the gilded sand, and evening vanish, and no more the low pale light across that land, nor now the long light on the sea, and here, face downward in the sun, to feel how swift, how secretly the shadow of night comes on.
Thank you, Esther. I recently read this book called Many Lives, Many Masters, and it is about a doctor who puts his patient Catherine through these through these hypnotic sessions, and he claims that they dig so deep into her dream state that they were able to dip into her past lives. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I wrote a poem about it because I thought this was a fantastic book, and I believe that we do have past lives. Through these lead hypnotic dreams, Catherine tells me stories, which seem so real in her mind's inventory. She tells me of years too early to remember and of unseen to Catherine's eyes mysterious foreign territories, as if she is a shapeshifter moving through time. In our hypnotic sessions, she is not who she is in the daytime. Life as a peasant, life as a queen. If you could tap into your past lives, you would know what I mean. See, we can learn much about ourselves from our dreams. Our past lives could tell us about why we are scared of things, why we scream, why we have feelings about certain things. Past lives occurrences have been referred to in Buddhism, Hinduism, many other religions. Meditation is a big practice in these religions as well. Only in a conscious state of mind can you foretell your true emotions, deep mind thoughts, spirituality, and how you feel. So you can't say there are no such things as past life experiences until you actually try meditation hypnosis, so you can actually tell for yourself. Thank you. Up next to the stage is Illy Mins-Prezzo. Eileen Mins-Prezzo. Eileen Mins-Prezzo. Welcome to the stage.
Okay. Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod on me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard. 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out from the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, swelling and welling, I bear the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Conversation. We smile at each other, and I lean back against the wicker couch. How does it feel to be dead? I say. You touch my knees with your blue fingers, and when you open your mouth, a ball of yellow light falls to the floor and burns a hole through it. Don't tell me, I say. I don't want to hear. Do you start wear a certain kind of silk dress and just by accident, so coincidentally, you barely notice it? Your fingers graze that dress, and you hear the sound of a knife cutter paper. You see it too, and you realize how that image is simply the extension of another image, that your own life is a chain of words, that one day will snap. Words, you say, young girl in a circle holding hands and beginning to rise heavenward, in their confirmation dresses like white helium balloons. The wreaths of the flowers on their heads spinning, and above all that, that's where I'm floating, and that's what it's like. Only 10 times clearer, 10 times more horrible. Could anyone alive survive it? Sorry, I kind of stumbled through that last one. We're gonna have one more performance tonight. Welcome back to the stage, Ray Frisbee.
The Vacuum by Howard Nimvrov. The house is so quiet now. The vacuum cleaner sulks in the corner closet. Its bag, limp as a stopped lung. Its mouth grinning into the floor. Maybe at my slovenly life, my dog, dead youth. I've lived this way long enough. But when my old woman died, her soul went into that vacuum cleaner. And I can't bear to see its bag swell like a belly, eating the dust and the wool and mice, and begin to howl. Because there's old filth everywhere, she used to crawl in the corner and under the stair. And I know now how life is cheap as dirt, and still, the hungry, angry heart hangs on and howls, biting at air.
Let's give a round of hands for these poets. I just want to thank the judges for being here tonight and being able to judge these poets. Thank you to Jason Throne, Henrietta Goodwin, Earl Craig, Saif Alsek, and Judson Miller. Thank you guys. We are just calculating the winners. I would ask for a drum roll, but that might be too long of a drum roll. Drum roll! This one's just a false one, I'm sorry. You guys can stop. Okay. I'll be right back.
After we announce the top students in each category, then I'd love it if you would all come up and join them. Everybody get their cited tonight. And then also the judges, and we'll have some photo ops. And I just really want to thank the audience too. It was really great. We had a late start and you just hung right in there. So families that listen to poems, encourage your students, thanks.
I'm gonna recite one more poem for you. Does anyone in the audience know who Bob Dylan is? Yeah! Oh, cool. My Back Pages, Bob Dylan, 1964. Crimson flames tied through my ears, growing high in mighty traps, pounced with fire on flaming roads, using ideas as my maps. We'll meet on edges soon, said I, proud me heated brow. Ah, but I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Half-wrecked prejudice leaped forth, ripped down all hate, I screamed. Lies that life is black and white, spoke with my skull, I dreamed. Romantic facts of musketeers, foundation deep somehow. Ah, but I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Girls' faces form the forward path from phony jealousy to mesmerizing politics of ancient history, flung down of corpse everlasting list, unthought of through somehow. Ah, but I was much older then. I'm younger than that now. A self-ordained professor's tongue, too serious to fool, spouted out the liberty is just equality in school. Equality! I spoke the word as if a wedding vow. But I was so much older then. I'm younger than that now. Yes, my guard stood hard when the abstract threats too noble to neglect deceived me into thinking I had something to protect. Good and bad, I define these terms, quite clear, no doubt, somehow. But I was much older then, and I am younger than that now. I mean, this is like a fantastic just stanza of words. It just fits together so perfectly like a poem. And this was in a song, so this just proves what I was saying about music just being poetry. We are still waiting for the judges, so I'm gonna keep improvising here. Maybe I'll do some free-form poetry. I came to the Hellgate Auditorium one night. Despite I didn't know what I was going to do that very night, so I picked a couple of poems for my rhyming scheme abilities, and then I thought out. I had to make a plan, a full-felt plan that had stability. So creating this montage of feelings and emotions, I created this stability through empty humility. I hope no one would laugh at me. I was just going on stage, crafting my ability with my pen in my hand, but I didn't have a pen in my hand, so I had the ink on the driving land, the land script that flew off like an airplane jet. But then I knew that what I had in my brain was Flexibility. Flexibility to tell you this lyricist is inevitable in performing whatever he wants to. This mysterious craft that I've built over years for my dad, I manifested it, I created it, and then I lived it. And from creating it, I created a life of my own, a life to call my own and be in the throne. I was the king of my own life, and this life that I live is just how I live and how I am able to strive and how I am able to conquer the dragon in the past. That past dragon that's in my brain saying, you can't do that, you won't last. But I'm still here, and I have mastered my craft.
I feel like I should tell you a little bit, Diego. There was a mix-up with the judges' forms, and that is my fault. They switched them this year, and I put some forms in. So we're recalibrating so that it's completely fair. Okay. So it's going to take just a couple more minutes. Actually, our English teachers are great at this. I trust them completely. Jill Derberry and Debbie Hendricks have done this for 9 years. And judges, if you'd like to stand and stretch, sure. I hear you. Feeling like you need a break. Maybe I'll just tell you a little bit about the national contest. The top 3 or 4, if there's a tie, students tonight will go to the Western Regional Poetry Out Loud event. It happens to be held here at Hellgate, and it's February 15th. It's right in this auditorium. And there'll be students from all over Western Montana competing. And they choose poems that are their favorites, ones that really speak to them. And they get these poems by heart. It's an amazing bit of work to do, but also then that poem, I've seen it. It becomes part of these students. After that, after the regionals, 3, sometimes 4, depending on how much room they have at state, go to the Myrna Loy Theater in Helena and spend an entire day listening to each other recite. They have 3 poems prepared for that event. And the state winner goes to Washington, D.C. They fly this person and a family member and a teacher that helps them out to D.C. And they stay there for 3 days. Nice hotel, meeting people that love poetry from all over the country. They go on a Washington tour of the mall and the White House, and it's just really a very special event. Hellgate's fortunate that we've had 3 students go all the way to the national contest in the last 9 years. The first one was Amber Grayborn in 2008, and then a couple years later it was Austin Graff. And do you remember Austin? And Stella Shannon was our 3rd champion. And then last year, a student from Willard went. So Missoula is very well represented at these competitions. I suppose I have to do a poem now. For sure I'm not going to break dance, so that's not true. Here's a poem by Emily Dickinson. I hope. To make a meadow, it takes all will do if bees are few. I'm almost dry. One more. All right, great. I get a real one.
So speaking of grandfathers, this poem was written by my other grandfather who went to Vietnam for 3 years, and he was a Marine in the jungles, and he wrote this poem while he was in Vietnam. And I was searching for this backstage because it's very powerful, and I thought I would share it with you guys tonight. Take a man, then put him alone. Put him 12,000 miles from home. Empty his heart of all but blood. Make him live in sweat and mud. This is the life I have to live, and why my soul to God I give. But you don't know what it's like to live over here. You have your parties and you drink your beer. You have a ball without even trying, while we're over here dying. You burn your draft card, march at dawn, place your signs on the White House lawn. You all want to ban the bomb. There's no real war in Vietnam. Use your drugs and have your fun, and then rescue, and then refuse to use a gun. There's nothing else for you to do, and I'm supposed to die for you? There's one thing that you don't know, and that's where I think you should go. I'm already here, and it's too late. I've traded a lot of love for hate. I'll have you till the day I die. You made me here, my buddy. I saw his arm, a blood shred, and I heard them say this one is dead. It's a large price to pay, not to live another day. We had the guts to live and die. He paid the price, but what did he buy? By his dying, your life he buys. But who gives a damn when a Marine dies? His wife does, his parents and his sons, but they are the only ones. Thank you. I recently did an interview with my grandfather about Vietnam for my English class. It's all about my English class nowadays. I'm just telling you all my assignments. But I interviewed him, and I didn't think he would be this open about telling me about his Vietnam experiences, except he basically led the interview, and it turned out to be an hour and a half long, so I was very impressed by that. And I learned so much about my grandfather that day than I ever have in my entire life. And I just wanted to share this story with you because he wrote a book about this experience, but he never shared it. And one day I want to type it up and publish it for him because I think that it's a fantastic piece of literature. One day he was with his platoon, and they were in these tall weeds, and they couldn't see anything because these weeds were taller than them. And it was nighttime, and my grandfather said that he would hear this grrr. He said he thought it was a tiger, and it would stalk him through these bushes, and then they'd sit down for a while, and then on the other side they'd hear him. But they wouldn't hear him like go to the other side, they'd just hear him from different parts of the place. And he wrote a book about this, and the tiger followed him for a whole night, and it scared the crap out of him. He had his gun ready, because they killed Americans and Vietnamese soldiers in Vietnam, because tigers were everywhere, and if you met up with a tiger, they could easily kill you. And he wrote a book about it, and one day I need to publish it. But also, are we going to? Okay, I have another story. My grandpa was, he was the last man in the platoon, so he was facing the dark jungle, and they would sit down one night, because usually they go around the perimeter and dig their holes, and they'd sit out, but they were blind, because it was too dark, it was pitch dark, and he was sitting there, and all of a sudden he just feels something knock on his helmet, and he's like, what the heck? And it's like a rock, and he thinks that the Vietnam soldiers are throwing rocks at him to try to get their position away. And he's kind of scared, he's got his gun out ready, oh. And then he throws a rock back at him. And then they start throwing more rocks. And I'm not going to say the word because it's inappropriate, but they said, F you, F you. And he's like, oh my goodness, they're throwing rocks at me and cussing me out. And he kept throwing, he had a rock battle the whole entire night with what he thought was these Vietnamese soldiers. And in the morning, because this was like his first like month in the jungle, he asked his leader what this was, and he was like, oh, those were rock apes. That's the sound they make, is like, it sounds like F you, F you. But they're like, F you, F you, F you. And they were just throwing rocks, so the whole night he was having a battle with some rock apes. And he thought that he was gonna die. So he thought that was funny, so I just thought, since I read that poem, I'd share those two comical stories with you guys. No, I can't do another joke. Can we have all the poets on stage, please? Hellgate's new poet laureate, who will join Esther, is Ingrid Bialuco. These students will represent Hellgate at the February 15th. During February 15th in this auditorium for the Western Regional Poetry Out Loud competition. So, congratulations. Okay. In special order?
In no special order.
Okay. So the winners of the second round in no special order is Esther Lyon Del Sordo, Esther, Brianne, Claire, and Leanna. Congratulations. Oh, these are the awards. Sorry. Okay. First award, Claire Parsons. Esther. Third, Brianne. Leanna. Give another round of applause. And this wraps up the ninth annual Poetry Out Loud. Thank you very much for coming out, and I hope we'll see you on February 15th and next year for the 10th